A very good evening to one and all present here. The topic for my today's lecturate is UNFCCC and Co. UNFCCC means United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It is organized with the parties and these parties are Conference of Parties, that means Co. So these meetings are happening since 1995, where the first agreement was signed with the help of all major members. So the 1997 was a major agreement and that was called Kyoto Agreement, where it was decided that every country will reduce their greenhouse gas emissions by 4.2%. Though it was varied by every country, but on an average it was 4.2% by the year 2012. These meetings were organized to fight these climate change affection all over the world. As we all know, Delhi air quality is currently at severe condition, Lahore condition is there, and as well as major underdeveloping countries are also getting affected by these developed countries, and as they were developed in the industrial area or at the earliest time. So several summits since then are happening, and major summit was then 2009, though several discussions took place, but that was not a successful summit. In fact, Kyoto was also not a successful summit as the wealthiest countries were not happy with that. Then came 2015 agreement that was a Paris Agreement, in which it was decided that every country will take efforts to reduce global rise in temperature by 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2 degrees Celsius. For that, world need to reduce the global emissions by 30%. But if we consider many countries including China, who is itself contributing 30% of global greenhouse gas emissions, and it is by the reports, it is suggested to China that it need to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by 63%, to reduce it by 2 degrees Celsius, and by 70% to reduce it by 1.5 degrees Celsius. And that is very, very important for all of the world, and as well as very much difficult for China to reduce. So the next summit came in 2021, where every countries have decided to phase down their coal. But in case of developing countries who are hugely dependent on coal, including India, where we celebrate any discovery of coal in any part of India, as it is very important for energy production, for power production in India, as our renewable energy resources are not that much capable till now. We have a target of 2070 to provide zero carbon emission to Indians. So the next summit took place in 2023 last year, and that was COP28, where it was decided to make fund by the developed countries, or to fund developing countries by developed countries by 100 million a year, so that these countries can fight climate change. But that was also not successful, and this year itself in COP29, the countries are discussing to make these efforts to provide $1.3 trillion to every developing countries by developed countries. But these COP meetings have not been successful to fight climate change, as the world is still not on a path of downward journey to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. They are still using coal and fossil fuels and many things. So for the future point of view, it is very important to fight climate change, as it is real. It is affecting the life of every individual in the world. Thank you.